All right, welcome back to another exciting episode of Mike is Bad at Cooking. This week, we'll be making meatball tacos. Now, I wanted to make meatball subs, but I ate all my Martin's potato rolls, so that's not going to happen. So, meatball tacos. First, we've got to brown up the tortillas. Everybody know that corn tortillas are garbage unless they're toasted, so bought a blowtorch. This does a pretty good job of getting them all nice and toasty in a reasonable amount of time. You see all those nice little golden brown spots forming? Yeah, that looks good. We'll move over to the second one. Now, you could get a Searzall and do this the way God intended, but honestly, I got this $15 piece of stainless steel off Amazon, and it does the same job, more or less. Emphasis on less. For less than a third of the price. It's pretty okay. So we're done yelling for the moment. Just going to give these a quick flip with my thin tongs. Then we're going to get back to the toasting. The edges curl out. I don't have to describe to you how a tortilla behaves when you're mildly setting it on fire. You can probably put two and two together. If you've ever put anything in a skillet before, this is basically the same concept, except I'm about to drip molten steel onto this corn tortilla, which honestly is fine. God, that's a good brown. I'm going to run this under the sink real quick. This is live, by the way. I'm not doing any editing, so hang tight. Yeah, that's taken a while to quench. This isn't a great idea inside. Just a quick heads up. That water that just dripped off was boiling. In case you were wondering, I do not personally advise doing this indoors at all. So, now that we've got our tortillas nice and toasty, we're going to add a little bit of provolone. Not too much, just a slice. Just a slice. And I don't know if I said this to you already because I totally haven't been drinking, but this part's going to get a little louder than the torch, I think. I haven't really done this one on camera yet. You've seen from my hundreds of previous videos, though, that, we use the blowtorch often. This is just a heat gun to melt the cheese delicately, and now that I have it on, it seems much quieter than the blowtorch. But, it's just ramping up now. We're already at, 1,000 degrees out of 1,200. It caps it at 1,200, and that's what we're going with to, melt and brown up this provolone just a little bit here. I like to bring it around in nice slow circles so everything happens fairly evenly. Might get a little bit of radio silence on this part. You can use the blowtorch to get the cheese melty and get a little bit of color on it, but it's a bit aggressive for my taste. I know this because I did it with a meatball sub a couple days ago. Super inadvisable. Super inadvisable. This is much calmer. Makes a lot more sense to use a heat gun indoors than it does a blowtorch anyway. Got a little bit of color going on. The provolone cheese seems to relinquish moisture when you apply gratuitous amounts of heat to it. I'm not a cheeseologist, so I really can't speak to that beyond the fact that I guess cheese has water in it. Probably due to the fact that it's made out of milk, at least at some point in its life. Now, if I can't get the color I want on this provolone with the heat gun, I will hit it with the torch. But as you can see, we are developing some browning on top of those little bubbles there. So that's very good. That is exactly what I want to see. So I'll change the angle of the heat gun, pointing more towards the middle of the tortilla. as those brown bubbles form. Can you hear that crackling over the heat gun? It is the single most appetizing sound I've heard all day. Except, of course, my own voice when I did the brief 15-second trial run of this video where I basically just drunkenly yelled into the microphone, which is a cell phone. This is Mike with Mike is Bad at Cooking. So just a heads up there. Ideally, this would look more like a cooking program rather than a hardware store demonstration of product, but this is what I have laying around the house right now. We should be at the home stretch. You don't really have to listen to me for too much longer here. Haven't really been paying attention to the screen, so hopefully I haven't been blocking the view with the heat gun or the torch too much, so you can get a general idea of the technique we're employing. Now, this would have been 1,000 times easier if I had just fried the tortillas in a skillet and then put the cheese on in this same pan and then maybe put it under the broiler in my oven like any normal adult human person would do. But quite frankly, I have a heat gun and a blowtorch now, so I'm just not going to not use them. But as you can see, those are beautiful, so I'm going to reach over to the crock pot now and grab some of the Kroger brand frozen meatballs that I've been simmering in there at high to low all day, depending on when I thought that my work phone would be charged enough to film this video. So it looks like we get 3 meatballs per tortilla set up. And that's roughly what I expected to happen here. This is the first time I'm cooking this dish. I have, however, been thinking about it all day because, quite frankly, I am a glutton and any use of foodstuffs is exciting to me. Let's get that cheese up from the bottom there. And you know what? I think I'm going to put a little bit of color on these meatballs because, as I said previously in the video, I have a blowtorch now, so I might as well use it. And the smell of charbroiled beef really is to die for. Now you do have to be careful extracting from this setup because it has technically been on fire for a good portion of this recording. Really wish I could give you this without all the extra noise, but this wasn't thought through, and I didn't think it was actually going to happen. I thought I'd have too much gin to make this a reality. I'm sorry for any Italians watching. I almost forgot to put entirely too much store brand Parmesan cheese onto the dish. Now, I'm going to detach you and lift you up on high, such as the Lord. I don't know, that sounds like nonsense. Hopefully I'm in frame. I have no idea how cameras work. It's actually really good. I'm glad I did this, and unfortunately, I will probably do it again. This has been Mike is Bad at Cooking. I don't have a tagline. Later.